All right, so I wanted to go over the Senate Appropriations. I know there's a hearing coming up. So let's go over who's in the committee, and we'll also go over what the Appropriations Committee does. In the Senate Appropriations Committee, there's Ana Caballero. She's the chair, and she's a Democrat, District 14. We also have Kelly Serrato. He's the vice chair. He's a Republican, District 32. We have Christopher Cabaldon. He's a Democrat, District 3. He is a member. We have Megan Dell, Republican, District 1. Tim Grayson, Democrat, District 9. And we have Laura Richardson. She's a Democrat, District 35. She's also a legislative Black Caucus member. And we also have Aisha Wahab. She is a Democrat, District 10. And just to note, the California State Assembly also has a committee on appropriations, or the Appropriations Committee. Here are some of the members. Buffy Wicks is the chair. Kate Sanchez is vice chair. Dr. Joaquin Arimbula, he's member. Lisa Calderon, Jessica M. Caloza, Diane B. Dixon, Sade El Hawari. She's a member of the California Legislative Black Caucus. Mike Fong, Mark Gonzalez, Greg Hart, Blanca Pacheco, Gail Pellerin, Jose Luis Solache Jr., Tri Ta, and David J. Tangipa. All right, so some frequently asked questions regarding the Senate Appropriations Committee. When does the Senate Appropriations Committee meet? The Senate Appropriations Committee meets every Monday at 10 a.m. A regular hearing session is typically early April through May fiscal deadline and late June through the August fiscal deadline. What bills are referred to the Senate Appropriations Committee? Pursuant to Joint Rule 10.5, all bills with a fiscal impact as determined by Legislative Council are referred to the Senate Appropriations Committee after they have been heard in their respective policy committees. This can include bills that appropriate money, result in substantial expenditure of state money, or result in a substantial loss of revenue to the state. The committee also requests other bills. The committee may also request other bills for fiscal reasons, despite a determination by Legislative Council that a bill is non-fiscal. Examples include bills related to property taxes, workers' compensation, trial courts, and local employee retirement. What is suspense? These are also known as suspense files. It's a process that has been a part of the committee rules since the mid-1980s as a way to consider the fiscal impacts to the state of legislation as a whole. The committee analysis indicates whether a bill's fiscal impacts meet the criteria for referral to the suspense file. Bills that meet the committee's suspense threshold will be placed on the suspense file after testimony is taken at a regular order hearing. A vote-only suspense hearing will be held prior to the deadlines for fiscal committees to hear and report bills to the Senate floor. Bills will either move on to the Senate floor for further consideration or be held in committee and under submission. At the suspense file hearing, bills are taken up alphabetically by author. There is no public testimony, which means for the bills that are coming up, I believe we're going to be covering SB 518, SB 437, and also SB 12. Those bills will be heard coming up, but there will be no public testimony for those particular bills and all the other bills that will be heard for this upcoming hearing. What is the fiscal threshold for suspense? Generally, if the cost of a bill is determined to be $50,000 or more to the general fund or $150,000 or more to a special fund, the bill meets the criteria for referral to the suspense file. The fiscal thresholds for suspense apply to the impact on any fund in any fiscal year. What does 28.8 mean? Under the provisions of Senate Rule 28.8, if the chair determines that any state costs of a bill are not significant, The measure will be sent directly to the Senate floor for second reading without a hearing in the committee. There is no public analysis prepared for bills that are approved by the chair pursuant to Senate Rule 28.8 because there is no public hearing. Does the Appropriations Committee have a consent calendar? No. In the traditional sense, a consent calendar is used by many legislative committees to dispense with one or more non-controversial measures that are scheduled for hearing. Those with no previous no votes and no opposition. Typically, the chair and vice chair determine which bills to propose for consent, and the committee votes on all of those measures in one batch, without member presentation or public testimony. The Senate rules, SR 28.8, as discussed above, provide the chair of the Appropriations Committee with unique authority to send bills with low costs and revenue impacts directly to the Senate floor without a hearing. This is widely viewed as being a substitute for a consent calendar, which we do not have, but there are distinctions. In what order will the bills be heard during a regular order hearing? We hear bills in file order. Bills will be heard in numerical order by author as listed in the Senate Daily File. Once an author is called upon to present a bill, that author may take up any other bills they may have on file for that hearing. There will be no sign-up sheet. As is customary, any members of the committee that have bills on the agenda go at the end of other authors' presentations, or if no other authors are present. What is the waive presentation and how does it work? If a bill meets the requirements for suspense, authors may request that their bills be referred to the suspense file without presentation. The request by the author's office to waive presentation must be submitted in writing to the committee by 5 p.m. the Thursday prior to the hearing, and shall note each bill to be waived and the relating costs. The sergeants will have an agenda with all of the authors waiving presentation posted at the hearing. Please note that if an author chooses to waive presentation, there will still be an opportunity for testimony by all interested parties, including members of the public and the Department of Finance, prior to any committee action. Testimony may occur in the absence of the author. How does public testimony work at a regular order bill hearing? Anyone desiring to convey support or opposition to a bill on our agenda is welcome to testify before the committee. Testimony shall focus on the fiscal impact of a bill before the committee. When appropriate, the chair may limit individual witness testimony and limit the number of witnesses speaking substantively for or against a bill. The limit will apply equally to both proponents and opponents. There will also be an opportunity for additional witnesses to simply register their support or opposition on a bill for the record. When is the deadline for submitting support or opposition letters? The fiscal analysis prepared by the Appropriations Committee staff do not list support and opposition, so we do not have a deadline to receive position letters. Any letters submitted to the committee will be retained as part of the committee's legislative record. What is the deadline for authors' amendments? Amendments are due to the committee the Tuesday prior to a Monday hearing by 12 p.m. and should be emailed to the committee assistants and the consultant working on the bill. Please send one complete secure PDF form or from Legislative Counsel. Please also send one scanned copy of the amendments with the author's signature in the upper right-hand corner of the first page. There is no need to provide a hard copy of the amendments to the committee. When are the analyses available to the public? Analyses are available outside the hearing room, 10210 Street, room 2000. The analysis may also be found at legiinfo.ca.gov the day of the hearing. How can I make an appointment to meet with one of the committee consultants? There's a number you can call. It says, please call committee's direct line at 916-651-4101 and ask to speak with one of the specific consultants. Who are the members of your committee and how can I contact them? A complete list of the committee members and their contact information can be found under the member roster on the homepage of the committee website. All right, so let's go back and see what a sample of a WAVE presentation letter looks like. Okay, so this is a sample of a WAVE presentation letter looks like. All right, it says, Dear Senator, then I guess the senator gives them his or her name. And then it says, I hereby waive presentation on the bill number SB yada yada yada, scheduled for the day. And thank you sincerely. And then senator or assembly member. Thank you for watching or listening. As always, please like, share, and subscribe to your number one source for news and reparations. We'll see you next time.